Okay, guys.
Okay, guys.
I think we ought to do one where it's,
I'm gonna cry.
what's that?
This music just makes me wanna cry.
Are we up and going, kids?
Yes, you are live. You have 9 viewers.
We got them all on here, huh?
900 so far.
Do you not like this song, Kathleen?
No, I like this one.
Weatherman does not like this.
But I don't like music, so
Do you not like what? Do you not like music?
how was the radio? If you get in my truck, every one of my radio stations are like you don't know what they are. Like 96.4.
All right, it's time, kids. It's 1 o'clock. That means it's showtime here at JJRE with GTT and the Weatherman.
That's me, by the
The
way.
magnificent Weatherman. Weatherman, how have you been, friend?
I've been good. I missed you last
You
week.
know what? We've missed you as well. Well, we're glad to see you're back working around here. Don't think we ain't
Hey.
noticed. Don't think we haven't noticed you've
When
been
you
working.
leave, I leave.
Weatherman, let's get everybody started with our sponsors because everybody can't see them now.
They can't see them because we zoomed in.
We had to zoom in. The instructions have been to zoom in to get closer.
Let's
to
start
us.
with the big guy first today. First, we want to give a shout out to Big John Jones, who continues to let you do this show, and he's such a big supporter of everybody in the office. So we can't really say enough about John Jones. He definitely deserves the applaud. Thank you for letting us think outside the box. And to the 3 sponsors we have, we want to thank Scott Abernathy, who is your smartest friend,
Smartest guy I know.
smarter than Joe Hafner.
Well, Joe's the smartest guy I know too.
Okay, so they're close. So Scott Abernathy, rent from Scott. We also want to thank our good breakfast buddy, Roy Frazier, with Farm Bureau Insurance, if not one of the best insurance guy out there, and none other than Belinda Arender, the Hawk, we like to call
What
her.
does that mean, Weatherman?
Man, that chick, she'll just pray. Like she'll come down like a hawk and just snatch up a file and carry it off. She's bad. She's a bad girl.
She's a
Man,
bad.
so if you're looking for somebody
bad
to
girl.
take care of, you give Belinda
Hey,
a
my
call.
mama's on here. We say hi to her. Brittany Renee's on here. Katrina in studio. Today we're live with Kathleen Sparkle, the new girl over there.
Hashtag new girl.
The new girl, hashtag the new girl, and of course we've got Katrina the Storm. So hey, I'm Good Time Tommy, hashtag GTT, the co-host, aka the weather. I'll speak for you.
Oh, I'm
The
sorry.
purpose of my show. Hey, let's get clear about the purpose. Who's doing all those likes? Is that you, Kathleen? A lot of
Brittany,
likes.
Brittany Renee, your number one.
Brittany
fan.
Renee, my number one fan. Hey, the purpose of this show is number one. I want 130,000 people in this town to know who Good Time Tommy is. That's my goal. We also want to deliver unique content to the market. Everybody in Murfreesboro, we want to get you zoomed in on this show, but we don't want to be boring. That's why I got the Weatherman. So I've got a little Real Estate 101 challenge. One day,
Coming
I
soon.
want to have 50 shares on here. What should we do if we can get 50 shares? We've got 5 shares.
Should not tell Katrina.
What should we do to get 50? Well, that doesn't count as a share.
That's why I
by
said
the
we
way.
should not
Pizza
tell
party.
Katrina.
What should we do if we can get to 50 shares?
Slingshot for a day.
We need to think about that. So, by the way, everybody out there that's watching, please like, please comment, please share this stream. If you share the stream, also, if you participate, we're going to go back in here and we're going to pick somebody, and you're going, one person, we give out 2 per week. What Real Estate 101, we give one person, you get dinner at the Alley on Main, $25.
And Roy says, buy them a Band of Heathens CD.
Oh,
Okay, well, I'm going to come up with something. We got 5 shares. Can we get to 50 shares? Everybody, can we get to 50 shares? I need you to share. New girl, have you shared it yet?
yeah.
Okay, you're one of the 5. Okay, so today, here's what we're talking about. Kathleen, have you shared it?
I have not shared it yet.
Damn. What? Katrina, have you shared it? You shared Weatherman, have you shared it? My mama just shared it. Thank you, Mama. I love you. All right, here's what we're talking about today. We're going to do a little, this is going to be more of an open discussion where we're going to have a little round table, okay?
Dialogue.
Dialogue. Collaboration is the big term. James Peeler, man, we appreciate you sharing that, buddy.
Peeler!
Really appreciate it. Here's what we're going to ask, okay? And this type of market makes it a lot easier. I've seen multiple types of market. So right now, if you were to go out and find your dream home, the first house you were to go out and see is your dream home, would you be chicken to buy it right now? Would you buy if you're looking for a house, new girl, you and your boyfriend looking for a house, okay?
Okay.
You go out there, it's your dream house, would you buy it right now? If it's the first one you saw,
No.
why not?
Because there could be better ones out there.
Okay, that is a very common way to look at it. But what if this house had everything that you wanted in it?
Then yeah.
But you might not want to, in this kind of market, if you don't make a decision very quick, it is no longer your available dream home, it's somebody else's dream home.
And so, to collaborate or
Let's
dialogue,
do it, go ahead.
there's a big, this is an open-ended question, because if we're in the 450 range,
Yeah.
we have a plethora of inventory.
Yeah.
So there's several houses that you may say, I'm not going to lose this one if I go look at one more. So let's go back, let's say we're under a 250 market, and it's exactly what we're looking for. If you don't jump on that in this market, it probably won't be here the next day. And then you know what we do? We
regret
chase,
it.
we
We
chase, and we compare everything to that one we lost, and it makes it really, really tough on the buyer and the agent at that time.
Richard says if you sleep on it tonight, you're not sleeping in it tomorrow.
Ooh, is that Richard Neese, our
Yes,
favorite,
it is.
our favorite realtor from
Wasn't there
Coleman, Alabama?
Wasn't there a show to sleep on it? I hate past Coleman going to Panama City.
I don't drive to Panama City. Okay, so let's talk about what makes your home your dream home, Kathleen. Why would something be your dream home? And I hate to put you on the spot. Hey, we need some more shares. I gotta have some shares. Gotta have them. Need them back.
Lisa, did you share? Go ahead.
Kathleen, what would make your home your dream home?
The neighborhood, the community.
Okay.
I want my kids to be able to ride sidewalks. I want to be able to run. I want to feel safe.
Okay, so your dream home not necessarily would be what's within the actual
Right.
house.
It's the neighborhood. Right? Location, location, location.
Okay.
What
Katrina?
about David's? Same thing. Doesn't even matter. Huh? Sorry, David.
That don't matter. Lisa said yes, she shared.
So, Katrina, your dream home is it's different than Joey Holt. I need you to share this too. Your dream home is probably going to have land. It's going to have something
Mine
with
was
it.
out in the sticks.
How much of the actual house mattered to you?
It was 50-50. We're a little different. We spend a huge amount of time outdoors, plus we have, I have a sustainable lifestyle. I love to do sustainable farming.
Okay.
And when we came upon this one, it had a super amazing kitchen, which I love to cook. And so that checked a huge thing off of mine. It had the rolling hills that my husband wanted. That checked a huge one off of his. And it's all one level. And at our age, that was just the clincher.
Okay, well, so let's take our buddy B.J. Henley. He was someone that had something very specific that he wanted. Now, you showed him this house. You sold him this house. How would he feel if he did not get that house? Because you've said this.
We will still be looking from now until the next 5 years, unless we recreated that house. What I mean by that, we would have had to build the exact same thing in a similar area, because they just don't make those houses. You know.
So it was so unique, so special. This is something he had to buy. Now he was in the running with this house of how many offers were on this?
4 or 5.
I mean, there was a lot of offers, and we also came in kind of late, so he was at a disadvantage.
We was actually on time.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. Did I say something I shouldn't? Okay, I'm going to give you 5
Hey,
reasons.
Bill Jake said an amazing kitchen.
An amazing kitchen.
You didn't ask me what my perfect house would be.
Weatherman, what would your perfect house look like?
In the bathroom, it has a huge mirror,
Uh-huh.
so I can fix my hair, and it just looks great every day. Air conditioner and a huge mirror, I'm good.
Trailer in the hills, James Taylor.
Yeah, baby
Jack.
blues,
My mama said a one-level house, they are hard to find.
they are.
Okay, so I'm going to give 5 things we're going to discuss right now why someone may not jump on that opportunity that's perfect for them. Number 1, the buyer has a fear of overpaying.
I agree.
See, in this type of market, the market dictates to move a lot faster. So it's a lot easier to get buyers to move. Like you're saying, Weatherman, if you're under $200,000, they already know, I don't have much time.
Right.
I've got to jump on this. But let's talk about historical markets where it's more balanced and they don't feel as rushed. That a lot of times comes back to them feeling like they're paying too much for it. Katrina met with somebody this morning that they were talking about maybe waiting a year or 2. Why is that stall? Why are they, if they found the house they want, why would somebody say, well, we're going to wait a year or 2 for the market to come down?
They're not in a I have to move position.
Yep.
So a lot of their decision is being driven on 2 markers. One would be return on investment, and the other is on what is the ability for this next home they purchase to be their final till the kids are out of school.
Okay, so right now what we're dealing with is someone that is, they're not at a point to where they have found their dream home. If they found their dream home, a lot of times that can expedite things.
Right.
But what most buyers feel, we don't understand this unless we're in the middle of buying a house. So I recently bought a house, but I didn't do it with a lot of emotion. But most people that are not involved in real estate, it is so emotional for them. It is there's a lot of things going through their mind because they don't do it every day, but their biggest fear, I believe, is usually they feel like, man, those prices are too much. I can't pay that. I don't want to pay that much for it. I wanna wait. I don't want to pay that right now. I want to look at something else. So, how do you feel about that, partner?
Well, I think if you're dealing with somebody that's worried about overpaying, we're not dealing with as much as emotional as they're more worried about the dollar. I don't complain about overpaying for a steak. And a lot of times, if it's the dream house you want, as bad as I hate to say it, the number really shouldn't be as important to you as you think. Now, don't shoot me for saying that. What I mean by that, $10,000 to $20,000 shouldn't make or break if it's your dream home. Even $50,000, because what are we talking about? A couple $100 a month for something that I raised my family in, that I spend the majority of my time at, that I build a legacy at. And so a lot of times we fixate things on a number that we don't pay attention when we buy a car, we don't pay attention when we buy clothes, but for some reason, because we make this big purchase, we automatically think we're overpaying, but yet we don't realize, I overpaid for an in-ground pool. But guess what? I got my money's worth because my kids swim in it every summer.
I was about to say, what is your money's worth? Why?
Peace. That I can look out my back door and my kids and their friends are in my backyard and not Johnny's backyard smoking Marlboros and drinking Coronas.
Well, it's like I explained to the individuals this morning, there is a market and appraisal value on your home, and then there's an emotional value, and those are not always the same thing. Emotional value will almost always raise the price of your home.
I agree.
Number 2, the new girl just said this when I asked her, they feel like there's a better option out there. Even though they have just walked into this house, it is the one they want. They still have something in their crazy little mind that's telling them there's a better option out there.
I'm gonna give one of your smart friends a little plug. Joe Hater's a little plug. He made a great comment at lunch. He said if you got a great agent, the agent should put you in the house that already fits what you're looking for. And what I mean by that is you shouldn't have to worry about several different options out there, because if you have an agent that's professional, they listen to what you want, they find what you need, and more than likely they're going to put you in the house that you're looking for. Just like, give you that BJ,
Yeah.
one hit wonder.
Yeah, but let me
Really
ask you
vanilla.
this. Are you taking credit for that?
No.
Okay. So can an agent predict how you're emotionally going to feel about a place?
No, but an agent can say, listen, I found this, this, and this. It's not going to have exactly what you want, but it has at least 80%. And I've got these other 3 that have similar value, but we're going to look at the best one first, and then you can let me know.
But go ahead. Go ahead. We got a question from the audience. Go ahead, ma'am.
I think if you are having the conversations that you should have on the front end, you're gonna know what's important to them. And just like Stephen said, those are the houses you're gonna hook them up with instead of just dragging all over creation. Because the more you look at, the more confusion
New girl.
comes into the picture.
New girl shared it.
Oh, absolutely.
About time.
Hey, I shared it.
I just now
Share
saw
it.
that. Thank you, new girl. New girl shared it. Okay. Well, here and I'm when I say this, I'm only being the devil's advocate because I don't feel like an agent. Most of the time, I don't know exactly how somebody's going to feel about that. I don't know if they're going to get that warm and fuzzy feeling when they walk into that house. I think that's hard to predict. So I understand what Joe's saying. I understand what you're saying, Katrina. I just think.
What do you not like about your house? Well, if you could change one thing, what would you change about your house?
My roommate. I'm just kidding. What would I change about my house? There ain't much I wouldn't change about it, other than maybe some doors that are on there that I don't like. I think me and Brittany would both agree that we would change a few doors.
He needs a pool, Stephen, so we can come visit.
Maybe I think right now for me and Brittany and Nicholas, this is like the perfect house. Right
And so it didn't have everything you wanted.
But hey, let me tell you something. Me and Brittany both felt that way when we walked inside. It was a feeling that no one could have predicted that I would feel because I was not looking to buy a house when I walked through that house.
How many houses did you look at?
That
before
was
you
the
walked?
only one.
So
Well,
you-
I
hit
bought
one.
the first house. I fell in love. I bought the first house I fell in love with. What did I miss on here?
Brittany's a great agent.
Realtor's dream.
Realtor's Drive. That's
We,
right.
we like to call him Millie Vanilli.
All right, number 3, that would stop someone from buying the first house they fall in love with is fear of financial commitment. They scared to buy something. It's just fear. They're just scared.
Chicken shit.
That's what I say too, John.
So how do you address those fears on the front end to address them before you ever get to the point of shopping?
Well, I do think it's all about expectation. Why am I frozen, Kathleen? Did you freeze me on purpose? On the line? I think you can do a good job of setting expectations, but I think whenever you get in that moment, you've got to keep overcoming objections because the most dangerous objection is which one?
One you don't know about.
The one they don't tell you about.
Here's the biggest financial thing I think people have. It's not really as much as them as it's their mama, their aunt,
Hold up now, that's
their
number
uncle.
4. That's number 4,
You know,
man. We're talking about number 3.
financial
Uncle
stuff.
Charlie who built houses
Uncle
in
Charlie,
Michigan.
yeah. And so what happens is they start saying, "Well, what if you lose your job, or what if the market goes
Well,
down?"
Weatherman, you're
Blah,
still
blah,
in
blah.
number 4. Quit looking off my notes.
I've looked at my notes.
Look at Weatherman's notes.
See
Get his
number
notes.
4 right there.
My notes. So I feel like a lot of people freak out when they think of this. 30 years. I've got to pay all this. They go from a temporary presence, they're thinking in the moment, to I've got 30 years of this. I get scared. The first thing we do is we stall, we push back. We don't want to get too uncomfortable. We seek comfort. So, hey, Weatherman, since you stole this,
Hey, but we can rent for 30 years, just as good.
we can rent for
Well,
30
and
years.
sometimes they get hung up on the big number, say $350, rather than the payment $1,700.
How you can put that, they focus on the obligation instead of the monthly agreement.
Right.
So number 4, this is what I was saying, Weatherman, until you were cheating. Hey, we got 13 shares. Can we get to 50? I know that sounds unrealistic, but if you're watching this, would you please share this, please, for me? Number 4, Weatherman said this. Number 4 reason why someone may not buy the dream home that they walk into, if it's the first house they walked into, other people's influence.
I hate to even touch it, but when you're showing property to first-time home buyers and mom and daddy comes, it's like, uh-oh.
Well, I would rather them come instead of not come and try to quarterback the deal from afar. So here's what, if you're an agent, here's what you need to tell your customers, of course, in a very soft manner. It would only be fair to everyone involved if a key decision maker for them to be with us at every single showing. Don't just come in here and cherry pick the ones that I'm the most interested in and start shooting it down, because buying a house is all about comparing against other ones. So if they've only walked into the one house and they're saying, I wouldn't buy it because of this, or I wouldn't buy it because of that, they don't have a basis to say that on, unless they've gone through all of them. So you've got to find a nice way to say that. Why do we keep freezing up, Kathleen?
You're live on mobile phone.
Yeah,
Oh.
you're live here.
Oh,
You need
okay.
some help in the Wi-Fi.
We got to, hey, who can we get over here to help us?
James
Weatherman,
Taylor, I did say Milli Vanilli too. That was funny.
Weatherman, can you get over here and help us? Richard Neese, great point. He said, thank you. A dream home can be a temporary thing depending on the stage of life they're in. That's it. Hey, Joy Holt, when you moved to Smyrna a few years ago, that was your dream home. I know it was. But you're exactly right. Your dream home may only be a season. It may only be a partial time. Because we all adapt, we all change, we hope we're all moving forward.
Right.
But you know, people get too bent up in, they say, Katrina was talking to somebody and this was going to be their forever house. And when you're talking to people, it is so hard to predict next week. How can you accurately predict 15 years? So people, they're thinking so long term. And it paralyzes them from probably being happy right now. So
We have a
these are-
different mindset now than 50 years ago with our grandparents. You know, our grandparents built one house and stayed and still own those houses today. If you right over by Mercury, by Hobgood, people still live in those houses.
That's my stomping ground.
There you go. and so, but our mindset are different now because of social media, because of keeping up with the Joneses. There's nothing wrong with that. We all want nice things. And so I could care less about having upstairs. My kids about to go off to college, I won't even use upstairs. You know, so if we didn't have farm animals, I could live in a condo and live on a beach house.
Joy Holt said forever is a dream. That is accurate. I believe it is a dream because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what comes into your life. You don't know. So you're going to have to change. You're going to have to adapt. So, but other people influence you, and they're trying to help you. But what if the people that are influencing you, they have a scarcity mindset? What if they're living in fear? What if they think, hey, I'm trying to help you out, you don't need to do this? What if those people are wrong for you in your life?
Even more, what if their outlook and dream is not the same as yours?
That's right. That's right.
Kathleen and I are at very different stages of life, so she wants a neighborhood and things for her children because it's very important for kids to have other kids around them. I want to be out in the sticks in the middle of nowhere.
And you know what? I firmly believe anytime we're giving someone advice, the advice we're giving is coming from within us. And it's going to be influenced by how we think and by how we feel. So that's why I've really changed myself, or I've changed in the way I listen to other people. You know, I used to, whenever they said something, I was very sensitive to it. But what I have found is, hey, you might say that and it may be right for you, but that doesn't mean it's right for all of us. It doesn't mean it's right for me. So if you're out there and you're going to buy a house, and you may have an agent, and if you've got someone else that's helping you, whether it be a parent, whether it be a coworker, whoever it is, but it's somebody that you really trust, you really need to bring them in and then be a part of the whole process.
Right.
If not, you're not going to get the same type of advice that you should. It won't be as good. What if you found a house and they come in there and they pick it apart? It's the one you felt like, man, this is the one I want, but they've talked you out of it. Well, they don't know the other houses maybe you've seen.
Right.
Number
Joey
5.
Holt had a great remark.
Who
He
did?
said,
Who?
Joey Holt.
Joey Holt.
Fear can distort perception.
He's got like a philosophy book he's reading through right now, throwing his pointers out here.
I bet he is. You know, I ran into Joey Holt down at we're at Whiskey Bravo. He popped up out of nowhere. I posted the picture. Hey, we got somebody else, Chelsea Sparks.
Chelsea Sparks. Did you see that? Can you read it? She wants to know how long you should live in a house before you sell it. Her family's been in their home for 5 years, but they have 2 kids and they've outgrown it.
Let's sell it.
Whenever the hell you want to get out. I think whenever you can afford it, whenever you can move on. This is a mistake. As I've gotten older, I'm old now. I think what millennials are doing is probably smarter. What they're doing is they're not buying houses immediately. They're saving up money and they're buying much bigger houses. You notice that, Weatherman? They don't go to the 1,200, then the 1,800. they're going out and buying 2,500 square foot houses. So I think you gotta look at your financial responsibilities, Chelsea, and say, if we do this, would we, first off, can we do it and it makes financial sense? Would we be happier? Can we afford the new payment that we're going into? But I think Richard Neese, you're buddies with him, he could tell you a lot gooder than I could. Number 5, this is something I think that a lot of agents probably struggle with. People don't trust themselves. Whenever they're making a decision, they don't trust their own damn judgment. They're scared for no reason.
Which means we're built to have insecurities within ourselves. And so every time we go to make a decision, we automatically think, did I make the right decision? That's why it's called buyer's remorse. You know, you see a lot of buyer's remorse. That's
right.
why whenever we see a lot of people write contracts and they write the contract, well, next thing you know, they want to pick it apart in the home
Scared to
inspection
death,
because
yeah.
they feel like they may have made the wrong decision.
So I think what this does is, and I'm going to tell you, as a salesperson, I probably would have been hung up on this 5 years ago because I wouldn't know how to get this information out of them. Because people that don't trust themselves, they're not going to come out and just say, man, I don't trust myself. They're going to say something that kind of throws you off. I think that's referred to as a smoke screen. They're going to throw these different objections out there, and what a lot of salespeople are going to do is they're going to try to answer each little complaint or each little objection. When really you're not finding out what the real problem is. There's some underlying unspoken fear that they have not told you about. And if you're trying to solve every problem except that one, the deal will not close.
I agree.
Is that all you got?
I mean, I
Ed McMahon over here?
Hey, I'm just back watching the show today.
Did I take over the show today, Weatherman? I apologize.
You're doing a great job.
Well, I do appreciate that, Weatherman. I sure do. So, give me some insights on some takeaways on this show, Weatherman.
The main thing is don't overthink it. I mean, everybody wants to be homeowners. Everybody wants to raise their family in your own home. You know, take the opportunity if you're blessed enough to be able to buy a home and enjoy that season. Tom, you said something very smart. Everybody goes through seasons of your life. You never know if it's going to be ups and downs, good and bad. All I know is everything has not been roses and butterflies at my house with my wife and family raising kids and teenagers, but I built a legacy in my home that I really love. And it doesn't mean I'm going to live there forever, but you know, a lot of times we do overthink a lot of things, and
We do.
and we don't need to worry about tomorrow so much as to is to just deal with what's today. Like that.
My banker's on here, Ronnie Martin.
And Ronnie's got a beautiful house. Ronnie, I love your house. Hey,
Well, who's on here? We need a sponsor.
did you tell Ronnie I stole one of his interior doors yet?
Well, I wasn't going to tell him, but I do want to make this point before I forget it about Ronnie, who has been extremely influential in my growth with financial responsibility. And so often when you're planning out your investment strategies, you're looking forward 5-10 years. And he told me, he's the one that really put that in my mind. He told me this: you can't plan that far. You don't know what's going to happen.
No.
You don't know if we may have a dip. You don't know. You cannot forecast the bad things that are coming. So that was another thing. Hey, that's why you can't overpay a good banker. Stuff like that. You can never take away knowledge. Kathleen, what do you got? Give us a takeaway.
Oh, Lisa had a great remark. If you find your dream home, no other home is going to compare to that home.
Isn't that great?
You're going to put it up against each other. There's nothing that's going to...
Yeah, but what if it... Stephen, do you look like Alec Baldwin? James Peeler thinks you do.
Yeah, he's kind of pretty, ain't he?
He is a pretty guy.
Yeah.
But hey, what if you're doing what she's saying, and if you're comparing, what if your dream home won't wait on you?
Well, let's ask you: was this home your dream home you moved into?
Man, when I walked through this, I've told the story. When I walked in this home, I was not walking over there to buy that house. I was not wanting. This is something agents need to understand. People will get excited. Get them out there and show them houses. They will get excited. And next thing you know, they're buying a house. When I first walked in that house, I didn't walk over there and say, I want to buy that house. Glenn Street said, "Man, you ought to come over here and look at this house." So it's right across the street.
Sure.
It was very easy on me. So I walked in that house, and it just, I mean,
Let me ask this: at what
I'm still
point?
talking, sir.
At what point did you see you and Brittany starting a life? Nicholas having friends to play with. At one point, did that come into that?
well, that was
Idea.
that was already in my mind.
Okay.
But it was, I still, hey, there's probably something out of this. There was probably a fear of financial commitment because I wanted to wait a little bit longer. I wanted to save more money. There was things I wanted to do, but it didn't really matter. I mean, I could have done it then,
Right.
but I wanted to put it off. And my perfect timing really doesn't exist, does it? Perfect timing is probably looking back. It's an afterthought. I don't see how you can know anything's perfect time because we don't know what's coming.
Jay Cash wants to know how many times you had to preview it before you wrote the offer.
Okay, Jay, I went in there. I wasn't even in the market to buy a house. I walked in there, and it was so cool. I mean, I really think our house is very cool. I walked in, I'm like, man, this is nice. So I walked around in there, and I was thinking about it. Never ever did I have any Blair, the
Never
trick
had any
shot
Blair.
Friday. He's
Never
in
had
it.
any Blair.
Braswell's in here, kids. So I'm in this house, Jay, and never did I get serious about buying it. But what it was doing, it was kind of alerting me to maybe I do want to buy a house. So a few weeks later, I was over there, and Brittany went in with me. We looked at the house. She had as soon as, I mean, she didn't say much, but I could tell it was really, it was very emotional for her.
Sure.
I could tell she liked it. So then we started talking about it, and then I became a chicken shit and told her we weren't going to buy it. Then she got mad at me, and then I went and bought the house without even telling her. Is kind of how that worked out for me.
Then you was going to surprise her, and you couldn't even surprise
I
her.
was going to surprise her. I
You
was
had to
going to
tell her before.
surprise her and tell her we got the house, and I felt guilty. And Weatherman said, "Oh, you got to tell her right now." So I called her right then. I said, "We got the house," and I probably should, if I could have done it all over again, I would have probably have waited and done it in person. But I know that Brittany, she wants to know immediately. So I felt guilty if I knew and she didn't know. I felt guilty about it. So
Yeah.
that's why I did it, and you talked me into it. Blair.
Oh, scat back.
Cynthia Martin says, takeaway. It is so important as realtors to be relational and not transactional. Our job is to serve our clients, and if we don't take the time to truly get to know who they are and what they want, then we will not be able to truly help them as we should.
All right, I'm gonna talk about that, Cynthia. I'm glad you brought that up. We're gonna talk about that for the next hour. I'm trying to get to 50 shares. May not stop until we get there. Here's the problem with that, Cynthia. The buyers out there will not slow down fast enough to allow us to become relational. You know, they don't trust us. These buyers out there, they would rather go do it on their own, I think, instead of having somebody that's going to give them good advice. I tell you what, if you would sign a buyer's rep agreement with your agent, you would get much better representation, because a lot of times an agent is not going to admit this, but if they don't feel like they're going to be able to keep you, their advice is going to be a lot different if they know they get to keep you. What do you think?
We just live in that age. We don't go to H.H. Gregg to buy a refrigerator. We go to Google and we look. The same way home buyers don't go find an agent and find a house. They go to Zillow or Realtor.com and find a house, and they find an agent. So we just live in that mentality. That's who we are as a society.
But I think they would get a much better.
Hey, I'd
everything
probably get
would
a
be
much better
better.
refrigerator if I went and talked to the guy at H.H. Gregg.
Yeah, but we're
was
talking
great.
$1,100 versus $300.
But it's the same mentality. We do that research on the front end,
So
and then find an
Katrina,
agent later.
what do you think
You
about
don't like
that?
that, do you?
No, I just
Shut me down on live
no, I
TV.
agree. No, hey, I agree with what you're saying, but I'm just trying to get more stuff in here. People don't want. They want to make the decision on their own. They don't want to commit to an agent. So, what do you think about what? See, I agree with what she's saying, that everything will be a lot better, but I only think agents can do so much to grow that relationship if they don't know each other.
I can see that, but I also wonder if we get so caught up in using traditional real estate verbiage that they feel like we're talking at them instead of to them. It's like using a church analogy, and you get so caught up in using that vernacular that people are looking at you and going, I don't even know what the freak you're talking about. Instead of really focusing in on what they're saying to you. It's like what the guy said this morning. I never even knew that remark resonated with him. So I was not paying enough attention.
Okay, well,
Obviously.
let me ask you this. How many people do you talk to in a week?
A lot.
How many?
At least
100?
20 or more, 30.
20 to 30 people a week. How many of those people are you trying to build a relationship with?
Every one of them.
How many of them are allowing you to build a relationship?
Almost everyone that enters a conversation is giving you the chance. Whether you say the right thing, do the right thing, or listen enough is going to be right back on your.
Now, how loyal do you think these people are?
They're not going to be loyal until they feel that they can trust you and that you have their best interest ahead of your own.
I still think that buyers, and whenever I become a buyer, I think we all become extremely self-centered. So, and I'm a very relational person. If I go somewhere and I've talked to somebody and they're selling clothes or something, I want to deal with the same person. But I just think people emotionally get caught up in that moment, and it's easy to sell them. What do you think? Blair Braswell back there, he's probably had more sales training than all of us put together. What do you think?
Well, first, let me just say how dashingly handsome both of you guys are.
Wow.
Hey,
Like
appreciate
this
that.
guy. Like this
I
guy.
had to come in with a compliment since I came in a little late. But, yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, they're not, people don't trust you.
Well, Jeremy Winger, I'm going to get to what you said, so keep going with that. Keep going with that, Blake.
Well, you know, not to sound cliche and cheesy and all that, but we talk about it all the time. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. We say that all the time. It's truth. And people already come in with their guard up. It's like we talk about all the time. There's 150,000 realtors in Murfreesboro now.
Yep.
And we got to do something to set ourselves apart and to get their trust. So how do you do that? You know, I'm still learning how to do it every day.
Well, see, I think that's a story you need to tell people, because a lot of the people you're talking to may be online, and tell them,
Yeah.
hey, you're not going to buy for 6 months. That's perfect. And let me tell you why. Let me prove to you over the next 6 months how you can trust me.
Jeremy
So-
Winger says bingo.
Jeremy Winger's got a great point on here. There is a stereotype of realtors being so transactional, which comes from the 89% of agents who are bad apples. See, I think the public, I agree with you, Jeremy, the public does not trust realtors. They don't trust. And some of it is the realtor's fault. Some of it is they're trying so hard to sell something, commission breath, as we talk about, Blair. So sometimes there's good people that are realtors that are putting off bad perceptions of themselves.
Most agents, and I hate to say that most agents, when they see the client or the customer, what they see is that's a $4,900 commission, that's a $7,200 commission, that's a $2,300 commission, and they don't see that I want to take care of this person to find a perfect home to raise their family in, that we want to make their dreams come true. And it's just money. It's hard for people to get past that, because we all need money to survive. But that's why you get those stereotypes on you, because we look at people that way, and we're only with them for 60 days. So we either have to make such a huge impact on them that they tell their friends and they do it. If so, why do we not have more repeat business? I mean, I'm speaking to myself, because a lot of times we don't follow up because we're out chasing the next one. And I'm not saying that I don't follow up, but I could always do better. And
Always
so,
do better.
Yeah, and so that's kind of part of it.
James, Brittany knew I was going to have to buy that house, by the way. I didn't just get it without her approval. But hey, here's something I want you to think about. In the future, what makes a lot of the transactions so difficult are all the people involved. They make it messier.
Yep.
They make it more emotional. The younger people have kind of skipped that. the millennials are used to, like you're saying, clicking on Amazon Prime and buying things. So with Zillow, with Uber trying to get into this, in the future, what is the real estate transaction going to look like? It may be even more transactional. It may be, I want to buy this house, and they may look over here and there's a hot girl. I want to use her. Or maybe you've got a little panel over here of realtors that are saying, I'll charge you X amount of dollars to do this transaction. I don't know how it's going to look, but I do know this. It's going to look different.
I still think that you can't. It's one of the oldest trades we have in America. You just can't take the place of an individual when you purchase something. It's just something about it. When I buy a car, I want to meet somebody. When I
Yeah,
buy
but
a
a
house,
lot of
I want
people
to meet
aren't doing
somebody.
that anymore.
I understand, but I still don't think it's going to go away.
Authenticity is going to win. every
I
time.
think so.
Is it? What if our world, what if our country, what if all that stuff? Well, these younger people, they don't care as much about a relationship, do they, Blair?
They're going to blame the computer when the house don't work.
Maybe. I mean, I'm being devil's advocate here. I'm
Yeah,
just,
yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying that it's more of a research, like Cynthia's saying, they want to do all their research on their own. They probably trust themselves more. Has everybody shared the stream? We're not anywhere near 50, by the way. I need some more
I think we
shares.
gotta hit up David Estes and Jim Dibble, see if they share.
Oh, we're interrupted. Are we still going?
Oh, you're on.
We're back.
Keep
Hey,
going.
we're back, baby.
Please like, please.
Please
Please
like.
like, please
Hey,
share.
thank you for joining Real Estate 101. Please like, please comment.
We've got a
please
great
share.
show for you today.
But you know what I'm saying is, I hope real estate doesn't go. I hope it doesn't go in that direction. But I am concerned that it is moving towards a model like that. Because people, they don't trust us. Then they see the 6% that we get. They don't feel like we earn the money. So
Jeremy says authenticity always wins regardless of where the microwave mindset, because being a millennial, we still crave relationship. It may be unfamiliar, but definitely desirable.
Jeremy, we might need to get you on this show. And
You know, if you've been to McDonald's before, ain't you?
I've been there.
You know that
Are we
crazy
still
thing
running?
that fills the Cokes up?
Yeah,
How much easier that's supposed to make it?
yeah.
They still don't do it right.
Brittany
But if they
says,
had
"Love
somebody
you,
take
you're
that
doing a
cup,
good
fill it
job."
up, you'd have a good drink.
Say what?
I still think we're always going to have people to do this job. I do not think we'll ever.
Now
be
wait a
replaced
minute. I
by
hope you're
computers.
right.
I do too.
I really do. I'm just throwing this out there for just trying to give a different level of thinking. Where you going, Kathleen? Can't do it without you.
She's liking, she's sharing. Jennifer Renee joined.
Jennifer, share the stream. Lucky says you're doing a good job, Tommy.
Man, we're still going. We got 17 shares. Can we get to 50? We might have to be on here all day to get to 50, but maybe one day we're going to sit here until we get 50 shares. Are you committed? We might have to be here for 3 hours, weatherman. We may have to be like them boys on Silicon
This is what a
Valley.
great salesperson does. I'll do whatever it takes for you.
Whatever
guy.
it takes. So what I'm saying with these scenarios is just something to make you think. What is it going to be like in the future? I don't know if it'll ever get to that point, but I do know that there's people out there that are trying to break up this model. The people that invented Uber, Zillow. What if Zillow, I mean, they captured so much information, they branded themselves so well. What if they have real estate agents one day? What if?
Danny Ward says customer service is an area you can't afford to skimp. You want to outsource. You don't want to outsource that to the lowest bidder, especially a robot. Real estate professionals will be around a long time.
I
hope
agree.
so.
I
hope
agree,
so. But
David Estes says Zillow is starting real estate now.
well, that's what I'm talking about, David. Right there is, what if the model looks completely different than it does today?
And that means every house they go to buy won't be available, so that we'll be okay. And that's how Zillow works.
All the listings.
Yeah,
Oh,
all,
did
all
something
the
fall?
listings are gone. You know, so
Hey, did I kick something off?
No, you got it.
Okay, well, hey, do we have any other questions or comments or anything?
James Peeler wants to know how many times he can share this.
Just one time, James. Only one time. David Estes, I need you to share this, buddy. Yeah, we only want one share. You don't want to look.
You don't want to look like a train and share
You
it
don't want to
35
look
times.
crazy and share it because you're just sharing it onto your own page over and over again. So,
Which is okay.
so James, if I miss, hey, James, I apologize. Well,
And James is
we
a
can only-
funny guy. He's only here.
Yes.
He's about every week, so it's very funny.
He is funny. So we got a lot of people tuned in. So without Kathleen, we can't shut the thing down though. Can anybody hit in? So next week we'll be back. As always, we do Real Estate 101, 1 o'clock on Wednesday. If you pick me up, you haven't shut it down yet, have you? Every Wednesday, 1 o'clock. Well, it's interrupted, so.
No, you're running live on the
Am I
phone.
still running live? Dang, people. We'll be back next Wednesday. Thank you for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow, straight from the gut, 8 o'clock. I'll be talking about me and my screwed up past. So I need you on there. 8 o'clock, Thomas C. Davidson. Tune in next Wednesday, 1 o'clock.